You poor thing. You must be exhausted.
Oh, no, I don't mind the night shift. Although last night was a little longer than usual. We had a jumper on the North Street Bridge.
Jumper? You mean somebody tried to dive into the river?
Well, somebody was threatening to dive. He climbed as high as he could and told the rescue guy that he said he wasn't going to speak to anybody but Sally. Of course, nobody knew who Sally was, so Calvin thought I would be a reasonable facsimile.
Deborah, you didn't have to climb that bridge.
No. When he saw me, he climbed down and decided I was Sally. By the time he realized I was somebody else, I had him by the leg.
What an exciting life you lead. Yeah.
Although last night was a little bit more exciting than usual. And it was so cold. Can you imagine how cold it is out on a bridge at 3 in the morning? Oh, I cannot wait to go home. Forgot I've got to file a report to Calvin before I can go home. Go to bed.
Now I feel awful for asking you to meet me here.
No, I'm glad you did. I'm hungry. You've got to go to work now, too, don't you?
Yeah, well, that's the movie business for you. I have to rehearse a scene with Nola, and I can tell you that I am not looking forward to it. As a matter of fact, I am very nervous about it.
Stage fright?
Nola knows that you and I have seen each other, Deborah.
So what?
Well, she takes it to mean that I'm on your side. That I sympathize with you, that I approve of your seeing my father.
Look, that...
I know that it isn't a matter of side. It doesn't matter if I approve or don't approve. But besides all that, Nola has decided that I am working against her. So, I'm afraid of her. I'm afraid for myself and afraid for you.
Paige, the last thing I want is to be a source of friction between you and your stepmother. I know I'm creating enough of a problem between Owen and her.
Deborah, I didn't ask you here to complain about it.
Well, it's true, just the same. I know I could stop this relationship if I wanted to, but I just don't want to.
Well, neither does Daddy, needless to say.
I know both of us could stop it in 1 minute if we wanted. Maybe I should.
No. Deborah, not for my sake. You'd only be hurting Daddy. Oh, God, you've been his reincarnation.
That sounds like something right out of the movie.
It's the only word I could think of. He's been very happy, and it's not just working on the movie. It's his thoughts about you that are keeping him alive. And you didn't steal him from Nola. Two of them were so far apart, long before you came. I guess I'm not helping you too much, am I?
Look, I know you want what's best for your father. Believe me, I do too. I've got to go to work, Paige.
Yeah, and I've got to get over to the studio to rehearse with that old witch. Check, please.
Oh, sure.
So there's a rehearsal right before mine that I'm real anxious to see how it goes.
What is it?
Well, it's an audition, really, and we're trying out a new actor for the part of Nicholas Harriman, or the devil. He looks terrific, except he's got no acting experience at all.
Anybody I know?
Well, you went to a party at his penthouse before he and his wife split up.
You're not talking about Elliot Dorn.
Nola thinks he'd be perfect for it.
Elliot as an actor? Why not? He's good looking, and he is a very good actor.
What do you mean?
I knew Elliot a long time ago. Very well, when he first moved to Monticello. He was the leader of a quasi-religious youth cult called the Children of the Earth. It was a phony, needless to say. And only a very good actor could have made it work.
A very savory character, is he?
I thought he'd reformed when he married Margot, started running the Unicorn.
Well, now it seems that the marriage is over and so is the job. And Nola seems to think he would be perfect for the movie. We need an actor. God knows the money is killing us. So thanks.
Sure.
So, Deborah, I'm glad you could meet me here. I really feel like we're closer.
Yeah, I hope we can be. No matter what happens between your father and me, I hope we can be friends.
Yeah.
I've got to run.
Oh, let me take care of it, please.
Okay.
And Deborah? Be careful.
Why do you say that?
Oh, hey, what's, you're climbing on bridges in the middle of the night, right?
relax, Mr. Dorn. I can assure you you're among friends. I don't believe you've met Chris Rafferty, who'll be playing Tom.
How do you do?
Hi. Willard Macefield, who'll be working with you this morning.
Mr. Macefield, what a pleasure. I've seen you on screen many times.
And if my instinct is right, we'll be seeing you together on screen in Mansion of the Damned.
What do you think about that, Mr. Dorn?
Well, Mr. Reinhardt, I don't think it's at all impossible with a director like you. They seem to be able to make actors out of anybody these days.
Yeah, well, why don't we begin?
You've read the scene, Mr. Dorn?
Oh, I've read the entire script, Mr. Reinhardt. I think I've memorized the scene.
Well, that's a good beginning.
Well, now, don't push too hard. We're just trying to get an idea now as to whether your image will fit the role.
Oh, I think the image is just perfect.
The performance is still a question mark.
All right, then let's begin, Mr. Dorn. Wally, would you turn these chairs around for me, please? Now, as you know, Willard plays the role of Hester Atherton's attorney and Mr. Wayland, and he doesn't like you too much. In fact, he distrusts you, and in this scene, that distrust is turning to something more serious. All right? Did you put it? Okay.
Should I begin?
Anytime you're ready.
Yes, I've examined the books, Mr. Wayland. You were quite honest about the mill. It taught us on the edge of bankruptcy.
I do not believe I said any such thing.
If wages weren't so pitiful, Mr. Wayland, if innocent little children were not employed at your looms for pennies a day, the mill would have closed its doors long ago.
Sir, this mill is run in accordance with the labor laws of this state and the laws of humanity.
He that maketh haste to be rich shall not be innocent. I'm sorry, Mr. Wayland. I have a habit of quoting scripture.
Mr. Harriman, I have never advised my client that the mill must be sold. So if you are not interested...
Oh, I did come to Salem to make a purchase. I'm simply not sure it's the textile mill I wish to buy.
There are other properties for sale.
I'm well aware of that, Mr. Wayland.
It appears that our conversation is at an end. Ah, tell me, Mr. Harriman, why is it you make no sound?
I beg your pardon?
I have noticed you make no sound when you walk, not even on hardwood floors. There is a silence about you that does not seem to be natural.
I try to be as quiet as possible, Mr. Wayland. You see, the place where I come from is filled with noise. It's absolutely hell.
I think he's just perfect, Owen. I'm so glad. And I always did like a handsome leading man.
Mr. Dorn, thank you very much for coming out today.
I think you were wonderful, Elliot, really. I thought you were very professional, didn't you, Owen?
Oh, yes. Yeah, it was a good job. Oh, remarkable, really.
Thank you, Mr. Madison. Well, I'll leave you to discuss your decision with your associates, and I'll be on my way.
We won't keep you waiting long. Do we know how to get in touch with you?
Well, I'm rather at loose ends at the moment, so maybe I should call you.
Oh, well, how about this evening? We'll be at home then.
Oh, that'll be fine, Mrs. Madison.
Oh, please, call me Nola. We'll have to be on friendly terms, especially if we work together.
Very well, now. That'd be the greatest of pleasures. Well, gentlemen, nice having met you.
I really think he was very good, Jason, didn't you?
Yes, do tell us, Jason. What did you think of him?
Well, no subtleties, of course, but then he hasn't been directed yet. Well, I don't think he'll be bad at all, Owen.
All right, well, we'll talk about it later. Oh, here comes Paige. Hey, hi. How are you, darling?
Oh, you're too late to see Mr. Dorn's audition.
Oh, what
in
a
time for your own scene, darling.
What a pity. How was he?
I thought he was marvelous.
Paige, are you ready to do your scene with Chris?
Oh, yes.
Chris. All set, Mr. Raymond.
Okay, Wally, would you strike these chairs, please? All right, as you both know your roles. Now, you're playing Tom Halifax, the young rogue, and Paige, you are the innocent, demure Patience who has very little knowledge of the world. All right? Dorothy, I want a timing on this, please.
Yes, Mr. Reinhardt.
Okay. And places. Action.
So your name is Patience. That always reminds me of a verse, do you know?
No.
Patience is a virtue. Patience is a grace. Patience is a little girl with dirt on her face. Not exactly Lord Byron, is it?
I know very little of poetry. The sisters didn't like it.
Oh, not like poetry. It's like saying you don't care for love. Then, of course, they didn't, did they?
Well, they spoke of love all the time.
Yes, but they didn't mean by love what you and I mean by love. Oh, you're blushing, Patience. I thought only schoolgirls blushed. And you're out of school now.
Mr. Halifax, I have to prepare supper.
Ah, so you're the cook, are you?
I do whatever I can to help Miss Atherton.
Ah, cook, clean, make the beds.
Yes,
Mop the floor, polish the furniture, dust and scrub.
whatever I can to help.
I thought you were a guest in this house, Patience, not a servant.
Miss Atherton's been very kind to me.
And you're repaying her kindness well.
I asked for these chores. Miss Atherton has been very good to me. She gave me a home when I had none. I'd prefer to keep busy.
Oh, the devil finds work for idle hands. Is that what the sisters taught you?
They taught us that work was an expression of love.
Ah, there's that word again. What a shame they had the meaning all wrong. I hope you know its most important definition. You're old enough to know.
Mr. Halifax, I have to prepare supper.
You're yet to find your first love, isn't that true?
Miss Atherton will be looking for me.
Do you know what Lord Byron wrote about a woman's first love? He said in her first passion, a woman loves her lover. In all others, all she loves is love. Let me have that privilege, Patience, to be your first passion.
At this point, Nola, of course, you'll make your appearance. You'll be in the doorway, unseen. Your eyes are blazing with jealousy.
Oh, that won't be easy for me, Jason. You see, I'm not the jealous type.
Well, I still don't know what to do about this Glenboro thing. There's no way you can convince me that the studio out there has ghosts in it. You know what I think? I think that there's a hidden door or entrance. And nobody knows about it except a bunch of kids or vagrants, and they keep sneaking in. That's what I think.
I don't see why you're so worried about it. I mean, it's out of our jurisdiction, right? Why not just leave it to the local boys?
Yeah, I know. The only reason I got interested in the damn thing was because of Owen Madison.
I know. Favor for a friend, right?
Yeah, right.
Only now you're not so sure that he is a friend, right?
Calvin, I have nothing against Owen.
Oh, sure.
No, I mean it. I'm not sore at the guy for dating Deborah. She's a very special person.
Well, you were ready to punch Cliff Nelson out for the same thing.
Oh, that's different. I'd like to punch Cliff Nelson just on general principles.
That's beginning to sound like police brutality.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, Eddie Vaughn, he's the press agent out there. I told him I couldn't do anything for him. If he believes the studio is full of ghosts, he's going to have to find him a ghost hunter, not a cop.
You thought he already had me.
Nah, he just got April Scott to walk around out there with a candle until she convinced herself she actually saw something.
You gotta be kidding. You mean Draper actually let her do that?
Sure, why not? Look, they paid her $1,000. Can you imagine that? And here they are. They're going to have a kid, right? Well, they can use the money, believe me.
Yeah, how about that? Can you see old Draper as a daddy?
Well, I can see you as a daddy. Hey, by the way, when are you all setting the wedding date?
Oh, no hurry to set the wedding date. It took long enough just to get engaged.
Calvin, I'll tell you something. You are one lucky fellow.
And don't I know it?
Yeah. You could have been seeing a woman who put her career ahead of everything else.
Hey.
Oh, well, speak of the devil.
What's this about a devil?
Oh, we were just talking about the movie, Mansion of the Damned.
Yeah, did you know that the studio was haunted by ghosts?
Oh, yeah. Owen thinks it's just a lot of baloney.
Not in front of the chief.
Anyway, here's the report on the jumper.
Thank
Don't
you.
mind the mistakes, Calvin. I can hardly keep my eyes open.
Yeah, you look terrible. Go home and get some rest.
Thank you.
Had a tough night?
Read the report.
See you guys later.
Deborah, wait a minute. Look, if you're pretty tired, maybe you shouldn't drive.
That's okay, Steve. I'm fine.
How about a cup of coffee? Wake you up.
Well, I already had two with your client, ex-client, Paige Madison.
Paige? Oh, you're seeing Paige, huh?
Yeah, why not?
Well, no reason. I guess you should get familiar with the whole family.
So long.
Hey, can you imagine her being Paige Madison's stepmother?
Quiet, everybody. Okay, we'll take it from the top of scene 25. Ready, ladies?
I'm ready.
I'm too.
Just relax, honey. It's only a rehearsal.
Sure.
Well, don't relax too much. I want to see a little tension here. Now, remember, Hester has just seen you being kissed by Tom Halifax, and she's plenty sore. Yeah. Okay? Put the watch on this, please.
Fine.
And action.
Go on, Patience. And what else did you do this afternoon?
I mended your ball gown, Cousin Hester. The black lace one, you said the hem needed some work. I hope I did it correctly.
Well, that was very kind of you, Patience, but I did tell you I have a very fine seamstress.
Yes, but since you wouldn't let me clean out the fireplace, I wanted to do something.
Cleaning fireplaces is a far too demeaning labor for a young and delicate girl. You'll have me accused of turning you into Cinderella if you persist. And that, of course, would put me in the role of the wicked stepmother. I wouldn't relish that.
I was just trying to be helpful.
Then go on. Tell me what else you did. What did you do next?
I made the beds.
And then?
I went to prepare supper.
Surely there was one more thing you did this afternoon?
I can't remember.
Oh, well, let me see. Maybe I can think of it. Oh, yes. Yes, you flirted with my fiancé.
No, never.
And it wasn't the first time, was it? You've been flirting with him since the day you came into this house, waiting for every opportunity to be alone with him.
That isn't true.
I've seen your eyes having rendezvous across the dinner table. I've heard your veiled invitations.
No. Cousin Hester, if you mean when he offered to accompany me to the greengrocer, it was just because it was dark out.
Oh, yes. And what happens when it grows dark? When I'm alone in my room, and you, presumably, are alone in yours, does there come a gentle tapping on your door?
No, never.
I saw you kiss him, you harlot! I saw you!
Nola! That's enough!
Really, I'm fine.
May I bring you some water, my dear?
Oh, yes. Please, thank you.
Okay.
For God's sake. No, what on earth do you think you were doing?
Oh, and I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened to me. I couldn't seem to control myself.
She's all right, Nola. Just a little shaky, but I think we better call it
Fine, Jason. Just send everyone home.
Okay, that's it, everybody.
Do you realize that you could have killed her? You could have choked her to death.
I didn't mean it, Owen. It wasn't me.
What?
I couldn't seem to remember where I was or who I was for that moment. I had no control of my own hands. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Mr. Bailey? Mr. Bailey!
I'm coming!
Mr. Bailey, Did you let the meter reader into my apartment again?
No, it was a painter. I wanted to take a look at that bathroom ceiling.
I thought I asked you never to let anybody into my apartment.
Well, I was with him the whole time. He didn't take nothing.
Well, you forgot to lock the door on your way out.
Ah.
Seems as though a harmony is hard to find, always on our mind, and frustrated days pass without sight, the edge of night, half dark, half light, as we watch our hearts trying to hold the tenderness that we once had.